jenis lain. Coba dengarkan.
What did Jane do while Don was working in the garden?
Bagian pertama pertanyaan tadi, yaitu
What did Jane do?
Menunjukkan bahwa dalam jawabannya harus kita pakai the simple past tense dan bukan the past continuous tense, karena suatu kejadian singkat selesai selagi suatu hal lain masih sedang berlangsung. Dalam contoh tadi, hal yang masih berlangsung ialah Don bekerja di halaman. Coba dengarkan.
What did Jane do while Don was working in the garden?
She sliced some meat while Don was working in the garden.
Salah satu jawaban atas pertanyaan
What did Jane do?
ialah,
She sliced some meat.
jawaban lain ialah,
She heated some soup.
atau
She washed some fruit.
hal-hal tadi dilakukan Jane sementara.
While Don was working in the garden.
Coba dengarkan dua pertanyaan berikut ini.
What did Jane do while Don was working in the garden? What was Jane doing while Don was working in the garden?
Jawaban atas kedua pertanyaan tadi akan berbeda bentuknya, bukan? Bagaimana jawaban saudara atas pertanyaan berikut?
What did Jane do while Don was working in the garden?
Saudara dapat mengatakan,
She sliced some meat.
dan bagaimana saudara menjawab pertanyaan yang satu lagi, yaitu,
What was Jane doing while Don was working in the garden?
saudara seharusnya mengatakan,
She was preparing lunch while Don was working in the garden.
coba jawab lagi pertanyaan berikut ini.
What was Jane doing while Don was working in the garden?
Bagus. Sekarang coba jawab lagi pertanyaan yang lain. Dan ulangilah jawaban yang betul sesudah Chris.
What did Jane do while Don was working in the garden?
She sliced some meat while Don was working in the garden.
Sekarang coba saudara jawab pertanyaan berikut. Kemudian ulangilah jawaban yang betul sesudah Chris.
What was Don doing while Jane sliced the meat?
Don was working in the garden while Jane sliced the meat.
Dan sekarang bagaimana jawaban saudara atas pertanyaan ini?
What was Don doing while Jane was preparing lunch?
Don sedang melakukan hal yang sama, bukan? Jangan lupa, bentuk kata kerja dalam jawaban harus sesuai dengan bentuk kata kerja dalam pertanyaannya. Bunyi ing dalam bagian utama pertanyaan menunjukkan bahwa kita harus memakai ing dalam jawabannya. Kalau pertanyaannya memakai kata did, dalam jawabannya harus kita pakai akhiran yang berbunyi seperti misalnya deh.
What was he doing?
He was working.
What did she do?
She sliced some meat.
Saudara pendengar, sekarang mari kita dengarkan percakapan antara Helen, Iwan, dan Chris. Iwan sedang berbicara tentang apa yang terjadi beberapa hari yang lalu.
I was walking through the park at about 4 o'clock.
Where were you going?
I was going to the library, and while I was walking, it started to rain. So I stood under a tree. While I was standing there, a little girl came up to me and said,
Hello, what's your name?
Iwan.
That's a funny name. Are you Australian?
No, I come from Indonesia.
Indonesia? Oh, my daddy went there.
And what's your name?
My name's Karen and I'm 6.
Karen! Oh, there you are. What are you doing? Oh, hello.
Hello. Karen was telling me about her daddy. She said he lived in Indonesia. I come from Indonesia.
Oh, do you? Yes, my husband lived there about 5 years ago.
So we went on talking, and while we were talking, the rain stopped.
Oh, the rain stopped. My husband loved Indonesia. He's got very happy memories of his time there. Look, why don't you come and meet him? Come and have dinner. What about tomorrow night?
So while we were talking, the woman invited me to have dinner with her and her husband.
That was kind of her, Iwan.
Yes, it certainly was. So I went there the next night. It was raining again.
Well, that was
Oh,
marvellous.
any more?
Absolutely
Thank you very much. It
marvellous.
was
Wonderful.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, it's nice to talk to an Indonesian again, Iwan.
Thank you, Ray. What were you doing while you were in Indonesia?
I was working with the agriculture department. We were working in Sumatra, near Medan.
Did you learn any Indonesian language while you were living there?
Not much. It was a long time ago. I forget it now.
Can you remember any words?
Let me see.
And while we were talking, there was a loud noise, and suddenly the lights went out. And then Ray shouted in perfect Indonesian,
Aduh, apa ini?
When the lights came on, Ray and I were laughing, because, well, it was funny. He spoke Indonesian when he was startled. The noise helped him to remember.
Jadi, teman Iwan yang baru, Ray Adams, dapat berbahasa Indonesia hanya kalau terkejut. Suara yang terdengar tadi adalah guntur. Barangkali matinya lampu mengingatkan dia akan suatu kejadian yang serupa di Indonesia. Nah, saudara pendengar, sudah tiba saatnya kami minta diri. Tetapi jangan lupa membaca bagian yang berjudul After the Broadcast dari pelajaran tadi dalam buku saudara. Dan pelajarilah bagian yang berjudul Before the Broadcast dari pelajaran nomor 43. Dan sekarang, goodbye listeners.